There was a psychologist that I was following that basically said 90 to 95% of his psychotherapy work was just helping people who are codependent advocate for themselves in an argument. And it was just a skill that they just didn't have. They didn't know how to protect their own boundaries. They didn't know how to express their needs in a way that was honest and straightforward and assertive. So be ready to set your boundaries like a snapping turtle, meaning that you're ready to defend yourself. You're ready to advocate for yourself in a way that's honest, in a way that's really expressing how you feel, and it's assertive. Don't think of boundaries as something which causes conflict. Think of it as something which reduces conflict. And think of boundaries as something which informs other people of your truth and how you're actually feeling. So when you set a boundary, you're providing information for somebody. Now, if they take it personally, that's on them. But what you'll find is that in the long run, when you set a boundary, it always, when it's authentic, it always will support you and things will get better. But the thing for empaths and codependent people, which I have felt a lot of those, symptomology of both of those, is that we're so conflict avoidant because we're so sensitive. Because we can feel all of that conflict that we'd rather turn a blind eye and then it will eventually blow up on us later. So instead of that, what you want to do is set your boundaries like a snapping turtle. That means if somebody pokes into you, you're willing to say something. You're willing to put yourself out there and be like, hey, I advocate for myself. I protect my own energy. I protect and honor my own needs. And this just comes from knowing inherently that you're a good person. So sometimes with empaths, people who have a little bit of codependence issues, there's a little bit of that guilt, a little bit of that shame inside, right? Guilt, shame, loneliness. And so then we don't want to advocate for ourselves because we're afraid that will destroy the relationship. But what I want to say to you is that if you don't advocate for yourself, that's destroying your relationship with yourself. And if you don't have a relationship with yourself that's honest, that's integral, and that's self-loving, then what are you even in a relationship for someone else for? That's the trick of codependence, is it completely outsources your own integrity and gets you to compromise yourself bit by bit by bit. So instead of that, you advocate for yourself, you express your own needs, and if someone can't meet you there, then literally that's their homework assignment, to grow, to be able to honor somebody's needs. And if it's just not realistic for them to do that, then that's totally okay. That's a vibrational choice. It's not a good fit for them. They can't meet you there. Then there's somebody better out there for you in the universe. So you'll never know that if you don't express your boundaries though. You'll never know if somebody actually can meet you there. And a lot of the time they can. They just need you to assert yourself. They need you to express that boundary. And then they need a little time to reflect so that they can expand into what you've informed them of. So this is my message for you. Set your boundaries like a snapping turtle. Be willing to advocate for yourself, to be assertive, and notice that if somebody crosses your boundary, if somebody crosses something that's just a little out of integrity for you, and you feel that in your energy field, take a moment to feel that, and then set your boundary. Sometimes it takes a minute just to reflect and be like, did that cross something for me? Yes. Now, setting a boundary also isn't necessarily it's not telling somebody what to do. It's saying, so here's an example. Here'd be a way that you could do it that would be like kind of less mindful. Somebody says something and you found it personally hurtful, and then you just say, don't talk to me like that, I hate you, or something like that. Well, basically you're not giving them much to work with, and then you're kind of returning the favor. Versus saying, when you said that, I felt this way, and so I just want to inform you that's how I truly feel, and to me that's a no-go. So I won't be able to put my energy into any conversations where that level of disrespect is there, or where that is a modality of communication. If that goes on in the long run, I won't be able to have a relationship with you. I just need to inform you of that. And what's so powerful, what's so crazy about this is that when you do that, you inform somebody, yes, they might be uncomfortable for a half split second, but a lot of the time, it's people who actually break out of a childhood conditioned pattern. They'll realize, you know what, that wasn't even really genuinely me. I wasn't really even being authentic when I spoke like that, or when I did this. And then they'll thank you. So this is the counterintuitive thing. I've seen many, many times, once I've started to learn to set boundaries, advocate for myself, and step out of being trapped in self-imposed codependence, is that a lot of time people will meet me there and they'll actually thank me for setting that boundary. And they'll say, I've literally had this happen. They'll say, I'm so happy. I've literally had this happen. Where somebody like, all I want to do is just respect you and your boundaries. So thank you. I've literally had somebody say pretty much something to that effect to me. So don't disbelieve, okay? If you've been in tricky relationships, you've been afraid to assert yourself, don't disbelieve that you can be met there. And also know if somebody can't meet you there, that the universe has greater things for you, and that by you setting those boundaries and that person and you no longer jiving, then you create space for those newer and greater things. So I love you. I hope that this gives you a little run through on boundaries, communication, and set them like a snapping turtle. I'm out.